Okay, factor the top, you got to pull out a 7. So I pull out a 7. And you are left with b plus 8. 7b and 7, 8. 7b plus 56. We got a trinomial on bottom. Becomes b and b. Your job is to find those tail numbers. You got to find two numbers multiplied to 48, but add to 14 in the middle. Wait. Signs included, that's pluses and minuses. Signs? Plus, plus. Plus 6, plus 8, okay? That's called factoring, which is a verb. Factor, which is a verb. That means you are doing something to a problem. And then cross off the common factors, noun. So now they're factors. We factored it to turn them into factors. So now you just cross off the common factors. Not B's, it's the whole thing, slash. Just like that. One slash up. And this one. Exactly the same. Final answer, 7 over b plus 6. By the way, b can't be negative 6. They put a 0 down there. FYI, should be able to handle that. All right. Problem 2. This is called my HAL box. I'll post the video on Canvas as well if you'd like to go back for your viewing pleasures. Number 2. Simplify. N squared minus 7n plus 12 over n squared plus 2n minus 15. Actually, this is going to be what not to do. Do not cancel n squareds. Do not cancel n's. Can't do that. Instead, factor the top and the bottom. And then cross off common factors. Go ahead as I come by, just take a little peek at what you're doing. On the back of that sheet that I just gave you, the practice problem showing you how to simplify the rational expression. Don't worry, I'll post the video on Canvas. If you ever have any free time you want to check it out, feel free. I'm going right around the room. Now I'm going to put you on the spot. you don't know how to do it, you'll simply pass. No problem. Mr. Belmore, do you have the top factors yet? Signs? Both negative? You're correct. -3, -4 is correct. Mr. Casada, what about the ones on bottom? Okay. In order for this to work, one of these has to be down here. 4 doesn't go in 15. 3 does. 3 times 5, 15. 5, take away 3, positive 2. Cancel, cancel. And you don't have to do much from there. Once you cross them out, you're done. That's done. You're done. But if you want to clean it up, just put a box around that. There's your answer. All right. Third and final problem on how to on the back. This is a how to divide. So the problem looks like this. 4 over 2v to the third minus 8v squared divided by 2 over 8v squared minus 2v to the third. I'll give you a little how-to box. Factor all terms. Flip the second part. Change the multiplication. Cross off common factors. See, they don't really want you to actually do any division. They just want you to factor and cross off. All right. Can't do anything with 4. You could make it 2 times 2 if you want. If you want to do that, go ahead. 2 times 2. 4 is really 2 times 2. Next on my list is Mr. Cobb. What do you, could you factor anything on the bottom here? I'm sorry? I'm not exactly sure what you said, but you should have said pull out a 2v squared. I'll give you the point if you can tell me what we're left with, Mr. Cobb. From here to there. You are left with v minus 4. Double check. If I take this one times that one, I get 2v3. And if I take 2v squared times 4, I get 8v squared. So this is factored. We're going to flip. So the 2 goes on bottom. And back to, sorry, maybe I missed Ava Clark. Can you factor this one? Take out a 2v squared again. Let's see. Actually, it's going to be 4 minus v, which is what you said, but I like it as 4 minus v. I'll give you the point. Back to Shelley. Can you cross anything off, Shelley? Good enough. Good enough. Allie Keller, anything else? This v minus 4 and that 4 minus v? Cross it off completely. Are they exactly the same? They're pretty close. You could cross off this 2 and that 2. Let me show you how to factor this here, or how to finish this. 4 minus v is really, don't forget that 2. I'm going to flip it around. I'm going to make it negative v plus 4. Don't change anything here. Right here, pull out a negative sign, so it's a negative 1. Then you are left with, whenever you pull a negative sign out, it just changes both of them. So if you pull that negative out, you're left with v minus 4. Now, you can cancel them. And back to Allie Keller. Can you give me the final answer, Allie Keller? Actually, it would be negative 2 because it's 2 times negative 1. So the answer would be negative 2 on that problem. Okay. Let's take a 2-minute break, stretch your legs a little bit, and then I'm going to come over here to this side. 2 minutes. If you're missing a test, you might want to hook up with Miss Dinsmore and arrange a time to do it at your convenience. Test polynomials. Last test we took, January 13th. Okay. Let's move on to this side here. First place I want to start is this little graph, problem 7. Refresh your memory on how to graph. You need to find 3 things. Vertical asymptote, horizontal, and y-intercept. I left off with Allie Keller, so Michael, no. Michelle gone, Chris gone, Michael, yes. Michael, can you give me any one of the 3 or explain how to find it? Okay. Vertical asymptote, set denominator equal to 0. Solve for x. We get -1. Subtract 1 on both sides. That's vertical. Vertical goes up and down. So you come over here at -1, and you put a straight line going up and down, kind of like dotted line. It's really, all asymptote lines are dotted. I'll highlight that in orange for you. Abigail, can you give us one of the other 2? Louder. Pass. The horizontal asymptote is the number on the end. In this case, it would be 0. It's always going to be the number on the end. So I'm going to put a horizontal down like such. Way Patrick absent. Brandon Phelps gone. Summer gone. Wombly Roo, could you find the y-intercept if need be? Okay, y-intercept, let x be 0. So if that's the case, we put a 0 here. So you get 3 divided by 1, which is 3. So when I come over here and I put my y-intercept down, it tells me that that curve has to be kind of like that. Doesn't have to be exact, but that's good enough. Flip it over here, directly opposite over here on this bottom corner quadrant. 1, 2, quadrant 3. If you remember your quadrants from geometry, quadrant 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. Next, I want to move to that batting average problem. Problem 11. Next on my list is Maddie Satter. You know how to find batting average, Maddie Satter? Yeah, what is 6 divided by 25? Which is 0.240, which means 24% of the time this child gets a hit. Pretty good in baseball or softball terms. We want to move it up to 400. You got to do a little bit of math along the way. Here we go. So put 400 over 1 equals 6 plus x over 25x. Mr. Belmore, what's first step? Cross multiply. So your job is to take 1 times 6 plus x and set it equal to the 400 times 25 plus x. Go ahead and do that much. Calculator helps you out. Left side's easy. Ethan Brown, what do you got on the left side? Cameron, what do you have on the right side? I'm sorry? You have a calculator in front of you? No, it doesn't. Ava Clark, what do you got on the right? You guys got to be quiet back there, okay? I'm tired of talking over you. No, don't be sorry. Just be quiet. You're keeping him from trying to do his best, and he's keeping you from trying to do your best. I can understand that. We're only in here for about another 11 minutes. Talk in English. They give you all the grades you need, or history. I got to grade you on how well you actually do. What do you think, Ava? Did anybody take dot 400 times 25? Mr. Brown. $10. It's called a calculator. Dot 4 times 25. 10. 10 plus dot 4x. I don't mean to be frustrated in my speech, but my God, I tell you, I got the calculators right here. They're right there. I could pull up the Algebra 1 standards. That's where this problem lives, in the land of Algebra 1. Ray Cobb, what's next? Somehow you got to get the 6 and 10 together and the x and the 4x together. So I would subtract the smaller from the larger. That's dot 4, that's 1. That's a whole x, that's 1. So I would subtract dot 4. So I have 6. 1, take away 0.4. 1, take away 0.4, 0.6, equals 10. Shelly Johnson, what's next? .6x equals 4. Allie Keller, what's the final answer? Or what's next? What is 4 divided by dot 6? That's 6.6 hits. So let's call it 7. Seven hits. That's 7 hits in a row. So if you want to raise your batting average. $13 and $14 on the very bottom. You learned how to do that today. You can do that on your own. I'm going to problem 10. 10 has an equal sign in it, and it has 3 parts. Your job is to factor that little guy right there. Your job is to factor this. Go ahead, fill it in. T squared minus 9. Your job is to factor T squared minus 9. Squared minus 9. Michelle gone, Chris gone, Mike. T squared minus 9, do you have that factored? Abigail, do you have it factored? Good job. Now, since it's all factored, you're going to multiply by the common denominator. Here's the plan. We're going to multiply once, twice, 3 times. So I'll talk you through it. See if you can do the math. You're going to take these 2 things, times this one, these 2 things, times this one, these 2 things, times this one. But when you do that, starting down here, this cancels that, so just take the 2 times this. Write that down. T plus 3 cancels T plus 3. Your job is to take 4 times that. Write that down. And then both of these cancel with both of these. So if these 2 cancel, your job is to put it all down on paper. So it'll look something like this. These cancel right here, so that's like over a 1. So I'm left with an 8. So Wombly, you would have the middle one. So here's what's going to happen, Wombly. This T plus 3 cancels out this T plus 3. So your job is to take that 4 times T minus 3. There'll be 2 items. One of them is negative 12. This is going to be 4t minus 12 right there. When you take 4 times t and 4 times negative 3 is negative 12. I'll give you the point. Maddie Satter, what's the last one going to be? Two t plus 6. 2t plus 6. Back to Caden. What's my next step, Caden? We got to solve that thing for t. I would combine this 8 and that negative 12. So we have negative 4 plus 4t, 2t plus 6. Ethan Brown, what's next? So I get, I'm going to negative 4 plus 2t is 6. Cameron, what's next after that? Yeah. Ava, final answer? Where are you at? Let's cancel. Two t equals 10. Final answer. Raymond, do you know? No? Shelly Johnson? Divide by 2. T is 5. Up here on problem 1, 2, 3, you're finding common denominators, really. So, really, just to help you out, the common denominator between 12 and 6 is going to be 12. And then you want to take the letters or the variables, and if you have two C's, you take the largest power, and there is no D, so it's 12 C squared D. On this one over here, 18 and 24, I guess I would just, let's see, 18 times 3, 18 times 4 is 72. Let's see if 24 goes into 72. It does, so it's going to be a 72. And then you have all these letters, A, B, C. Just take the largest power of each one. So the largest of the A's is a power of 3. Largest B's is a B squared, and a C is a C squared. You've at least been prepped on everything else. You may not be able to do it, but you've been prepped on it. Yeah.